Hey guys, this is Miss Smith. I'm going to be going over practice page number 3 with you about subjects and predicates. So remember, a subject is going to be who or what your sentence is about. Your predicate is going to be the action that is taking place in the sentence. So your directions for the first part say, for each sentence, draw a vertical line separating the subject and predicate. Circle the entire subject, draw a wiggly line under the entire predicate. So let's look at these directions more closely. I know that I'm going to draw a vertical line between my subject and my predicate. So let's look at the example. Cusco had impressive stone buildings. So right here, they have drawn a vertical line separating our subject, so who or what the sentence is about, from our predicate, which is the action taking place in the sentence. The next part of your directions say to circle the entire subject and draw a wiggly line under the entire predicate. So remember, with the entire subject, you're going to give me who or what it's about, as well as any of the details about that subject. With the entire predicate, it's going to be the verb as well as the information that follows. So they have circled Cusco, because that is our subject. It's what the sentence is about. And then they've underlined with a wiggly line, had impressive stone buildings. That would be the predicate. So let's look at number 1. The Aztec valued education. So first, I need to separate my subject and my predicate. So I need to identify the subject, which would be who or what the sentence is about. I know that's going to be the Aztec. So after the Aztec, I'm going to draw my vertical line. I'm going to go ahead and circle the Aztec because I know that is my entire subject. And then I'm going to put a wiggly line under valued education because that's my entire predicate. It's telling me what the Aztec did. Number 2, few commoners entered the city of Cusco. So I need to find my subject first. Know that the sentence is focusing on the commoners and what they are doing. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my vertical line. I'm going to circle my subject and put a wiggly line under my predicate. Number 3, the Inca Empire became the largest pre-Columbian empire. All right, so I know that the Inca Empire is what my subject is about. Became the largest pre-Columbian empire is telling me what we need to know about the Inca Empire. So draw my vertical line to separate the subject and predicate, circling my subject, and drawing a wiggly line under my predicate. Number 4, bustling marketplaces filled Tenochtitlan and other cities. So I know that the bustling marketplaces would be my subject, and the rest of the sentence is explaining what the marketplaces did. So I'm going to go ahead and circle my subject and a wiggly line under my predicate. And number 5, Machu Picchu is one of the world's most important archaeological sites. Okay, so I know that Machu Picchu is what my sentence is about. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the vertical line after it, circle the subject. That means is one of the world's most important archaeological sites would be my entire predicate. All right, let's look at the next section. This is about run-on sentences. Remember, with a run-on sentence, this is going to be a sentence that is not written correctly. It has way too much information in it. It needs to be separated into simple sentences. So your directions say split the run-on sentences into 2 simple sentences. So I know that I'm going to have 2 sentences in my answer. Rewrite both sentences. Remember to include correct capitalization and punctuation. So make sure when you are writing your sentences, the first letter of each sentence is capitalized. Make sure any proper nouns are capitalized. Make sure you have punctuation at the end of each sentence. So let's look at number 1. Cusco is the center of the Inca Empire. All roads led there. All right, so I know that a sentence is going to have a subject and a predicate. So Cusco is the subject I see, was the center of the Inca Empire. Looks like that's going to be the predicate. So that means this would be where my first sentence ends. So the next one, all roads led there. I know that the roads are going to be the subject of this one, which means led there is my predicate. So when I rewrite this, I need to say Cusco was the center of the Inca Empire. And don't forget to put your punctuation at the end. My next sentence, all roads led there. Make sure you capitalize that first letter. All roads led there. Make sure you end with punctuation. All right, the next one says, the Aztecs believed in multiple gods and goddesses. They believed that the gods, humans, and nature worked together. All right, so I see the subject, the Aztecs. What are the Aztecs doing? They believed in multiple gods and goddesses. All right, so that looks like a good place to stop for my first sentence. They believe that the gods, humans, and nature work together. All right, so that's also going to be a complete sentence. I have a subject and I have a predicate. So when we rewrite this, we're going to say the Aztec believed in multiple gods and goddesses. Don't forget your period at the end. We're starting a new sentence, so we need a capital letter. They believed that the gods, humans, and nature worked together. And then put a period at the end. All right, number 3. The Aztec had a tribute system. The Inca had a tribute system as well. Okay, so I know that the Aztec would be who or what the first sentence will be about. Had a tribute system would be the predicate for this one. So I'm going to go ahead, draw my line so I know where to stop. The Inca had a tribute system as well. All right, so that's going to also be a complete sentence. So I'm going to circle my subject, and that is my predicate. So the Aztec had a tribute system. Put your period at the end. The Inca, make sure you capitalize the T in the, had a tribute system as well. And don't forget that period at the end. Number 4. The Inca Empire was divided into 4 quarters. Each quarter had its own governor. All right, so I see the Inca Empire was divided into 4 quarters. That looks like a good sentence. So draw my line. Each quarter had its own governor. So each quarter had its own governor. All right. The Inca Empire was divided into 4 quarters. Don't forget your period. Capitalize the E in each quarter. Had its own governor, and period at the end. And number 5. Moctezuma I constantly waged war on neighboring groups. This is how he expanded the Aztec Empire. All right, so I know that Moctezuma I is my subject, constantly waged war on neighboring groups. That seems like a good sentence. This is how he expanded the Aztec Empire. So this would be my subject, is how he expanded the Aztec Empire. All right, so we have Moctezuma I constantly waged war on neighboring groups. Don't forget your period at the end. Capitalize the T in this. Is how he expanded the Aztec Empire. And period at the end. So make sure you remember that a subject is who or what a sentence is about. The predicate is the action taking place in the sentence. And make sure your complete sentence has a subject and a predicate. If you have a run-on sentence, make sure you are able to read the information and separate it into multiple complete sentences.